the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Sam Menzie, and we have a great show for you today. First topic we'll be going over is the American League All-Star Reserves, then moving into the National League All-Star Reserves, then talking about the Yankees' recent losing streak, Yu Darvish being out indefinitely, and some Jazz Chisholm trade rumors. But before we do all that, I'd like to ask you to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read on the air, please use the link, gsmcpodcast.net. Really just love the show, and it really has been a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get into the show today. So, all right, as I said, our first topic is going to be about, of course, the American League All-Star Game Reserves. Just talking about that was announced yesterday, so just giving my overall thoughts on all the players selected, and just if I think they're deserving or not in general. So, yeah, let's get into it. So, starting off with the American League, of course, we're starting off with the pitchers. Going first from the Los Angeles Angels, Tyler Anderson. Yeah, I think Anderson is definitely deserving. Anderson has had a great bounce-back season with the Angels last year. It was so bad that the Angels actually placed him on waivers at the end of last year, and nobody even wanted him. So that was how really unfortunate he was doing in the first year of his contract, but has really been great this year, has done fantastic with them, has become a really big trade piece in this market, and definitely deserves to be the second-time All-Star for him. Congratulations. Definitely a good choice, especially as the Angels representative. Next, we have from the Baltimore Orioles, Corbin Burnes. Yeah, I think, again, Corbin Burnes is an obvious candidate that should have been here. He's probably right now the AL Cy Young favorite. I mean, he's having such a fantastic season for the Orioles. Is really one of the big reasons why the Orioles are doing as good as they are. And, yeah, just a great season he's having. 100% deserves to be here. Nothing wrong about the selection of me. And, yeah, overall, I think this is a great pick. Next, we have from the Cleveland Guardians, Emmanuel Clase. Yeah, again, another pick that was very obvious and very deserved. Clase has been fantastic this year for Texas. Sorry, not Texas. It's been fantastic this year for Cleveland. I was thinking of his old team. And, yeah, has been maybe the best closer in baseball all year. Has been a huge reason why this Guardians team has been so dominant. I mean, when you get to that ninth inning, it's basically over. You do not want to see Clase. His season really reminds me of 2022 Edwin Diaz with how dominant he was. Both those pitchers, I think, have a lot of similarities. So, yeah, I think Clase was an obvious pick that needed to be here. It would be nice to him to go back to his former ballpark. And, yeah, just a great selection here. Has been amazing this year. Obvious pick, and, yeah, definitely deserved. Next, we have from the Seattle Mariners, Logan Gilbert. Again, another pick that I 100% think was deserved. Gilbert has been a huge piece of this Mariners team. Really what they've expected him to be, and he's been everything that they've wanted. I mean, has been such a great piece. I mean, has been absolutely fantastic. And, yeah, has been just really great. Has been, again, a big reason why this Mariners rotation has been so dominant, why this Mariners team has been so good this year. And I think overall he's been an amazing player, really deserves this pick. I'm sure there's a lot of All-Star games in his future because he is a great pitcher with a ton of potential left for his future. So, yeah, I think it's a great selection here, and I think it is definitely deserved for this Mariners team. Next up, we have one of the first picks that really did get some attention with how, kind of iffy it was, and that is from the New York Yankees, Clay Holmes. Now, Clay Holmes has definitely had a very solid season. I mean, there's no doubting about that. But the thing is, has he been better than some of the guys who were left off? Mainly Craig Kimbrell and Kenley Jansen. Now, Holmes, again, has had a very solid season for this Yankees team. He's always been a good closer for them, but he's not done as great in these past few weeks. Blew a big game against the Red Sox a few days ago, and looking at his numbers compared to a guy like Kenley Jansen, guy like Craig Kimbrell, who have been left off the team, I think there is a real debate here to say, does he deserve it? Now, even Clay Holmes said in an interview that he was definitely surprised about this, and I think that's for a reason. Again, I think he's had a very solid season. I have no problem with him being an All-Star. It's just the guys he was picked over. I don't necessarily think it was a great pick, and again, I think that there were some better selections, but again, he's had a solid season. But we'll be talking more about Clay Holmes in our third segment, which is all about the Yankees. So, yeah, we'll be going over that. Next, we have from the Boston Red Sox, Tanner Houck. Yeah, great pick. Houck has been so good this year. I mean, it's been so fantastic. Has had a true breakout season for this Red Sox team. One of the big reasons why they have exceeded expectations so much. Has been absolutely fantastic. I mean, really has been great. I don't know what else to say about Houck, but yeah, just a breakout season out of nowhere. Has been absolutely fantastic and good for him. Definitely deserves this. Seth Lugo from the Kansas City Royals is the next one. Yes, 100%. Lugo, what a season he has had. I mean, what a turnaround his career has been from a middle relief pitcher from the Mets to now being an ace-level pitcher with the Royals. betting himself going to the Padres last year as a starter, worked out, signed a big contract with the Royals, and now is in the All-Star game. I think could be one of the candidates to start the All-Star game as well. I'm sure it'll be Corbin Burns who starts it, but yeah, Lugo has had an absolutely fantastic season, and yeah, has been just so good, and yeah, just a great season for Lugo. Very happy for him as a Mets fan, and definitely deserves this pick. Mason Miller from the A's, next pick. Of course, I mean, who else is going to be picked in the A's? Brent Rooker's had a good season, but Mason Miller is the obvious choice here. Has, again, been absolutely fantastic. I think really has just had one of the best relief seasons of all time at this point. Has been so good, and definitely deserves this pick. No doubt about that here. I'm sure everyone will agree with that. Next, from the Detroit Tigers, Tarek Skubal. Again, a guy who probably is the AL Cy Young favorite at this point. With how fantastic Skubal has been, you had to put him here. First of many All-Star games in his future, I'd say, is a future superstar in my opinion. Absolutely fantastic, and yeah, I 100% think he deserves this here. And yeah, an obvious pick, but the right one. And last but not least, from the hometown team, the Texas Rangers, we have Kirby Yates. Yates has been absolutely phenomenal this year for Texas. Has an ERA under 1, has been one of the big reasons why this Rangers team hasn't fully fallen apart. I mean, they've fallen apart a little bit, but not to the degree I think some people thought. So Yates has been absolutely fantastic. Has had a great season with Texas right now, and yeah, definitely deserves this pick. Good pick here for the hometown team. No doubt about that here. All right, moving into the position players here, we have first from the Minnesota Twins, Carlos Correa. Now, Correa will be interesting, as I think that I'm not sure actually if he's going to play in the All-Star game is what I'm trying to get at. He just did get hit by a pitch on his hand, I believe, a day ago, so we're not sure if that'll be healed enough to play in the All-Star game. But even so, he's had a fantastic season with the Twins. Again, there's a lot of doubts about him when he signed that contract in Minnesota after all the medical stuff that happened in New York and San Francisco with his contracts being canceled. So, yeah, really nice bounce back for Correa here. He's had a fantastic season. Really is looking like the Correa of old, the Correa back in Houston. So, yeah, absolutely fantastic season with the Twins here, and definitely deserves this pick. Next, we have from the Boston Red Sox, Rafael Devers. Devers has been absolutely fantastic this year. I mean, was my choice to be the AL third baseman starting this game. I think 100% deserves this pick. We saw yesterday what he can do. I mean, just that game against the Yankees was absolutely insane. So, Devers 100% deserves this pick. Was a very deserving candidate. Yes, had a fantastic season. And yeah, great pick. I also want to say I am a little bit under the weather, so if you do hear some sniffling or coughing or something like that, I do apologize. I just want to get that out there. I was supposed to say it at the start, but I did forget, but let's keep going. Next we have, also from the Boston Red Sox, Jarren Duran. Duran has just had an amazing breakout season with the Red Sox. I did a segment on him a few days ago. It's on the channel as well, so if you want to see that, go ahead. But yeah, Duran has had an amazing season with Boston. Has been so good as a breakout player. Really did not expect much from him this year, but man, has he been great for Boston. Really, again, is like Tanner Houck has been one of the big reasons why this team has been so fantastic this year and has exceeded so many expectations. So yeah, I think 100% this deserved, and yeah, just a great season for him. Next, we have from the Cleveland Guardians, David Fry. Yeah, Fry has had an amazing, incredible season. A guy who's not supposed to be part of this Guardians team at all this year is now an All-Star, and he said it the best. They asked him, did you expect to be an All-Star this year? And he said, yeah, I expect to be a AAA All-Star. So it shows you even this is not even on the radar for him. So the fact that he did make the All-Star team is one of the reasons why baseball is so great. I mean, having these guys make the All-Star game out of nowhere is just such a nice story, such a fun thing, and yeah, one of the reasons why baseball is the greatest game in the world. Such a great season for David Fry. I mean, has been an amazing piece of this Guardians offense that has been extraordinary. And yeah, just a great job by him. Next, we have from the Detroit Tigers, again, Riley Green. Yeah, 100% deserves. Green has been in a fantastic piece of this Tigers offense. Their offense has been horrible this year, but at the same time, that is not up to the blame of Green. He's been absolutely fantastic this year. When some of his other younger Tigers players like Parker Meadows, Colt Keith, Spencer Torkelson have now played up to this standard, Green has, and he's been absolutely fantastic. And yeah, 100% deserves this pick, and it is well deserved here. Next, we have from the Cleveland Guardians, Josh Naylor. Naylor is the guy I would have picked to start the game at first base for the American League. So obviously, I think he deserves to be here. Has had an amazing season with Cleveland. Is, again, one of the big reasons why this Cleveland team is so good. And one of the big reasons why this offense has been so extraordinary this year. So, yeah, I think he 100% deserves this pick. And, is definitely a great pick here for Cleveland. Next, we have from the Tampa Bay Rays, Isaac Paredes. The Rays offense really has been underwhelming this year, but that is not to the blame of Paredes. He's been absolutely fantastic this year, really, really performing great, and is a deserving pick here to this Tampa Bay team. Is an absolutely great selection, and yeah, he's had another great season with Tampa Bay since coming over from Detroit. Yeah, great pick. Next, we have from the Kansas City Royals, Salvador Perez. Talked about it on my show a few times, but man, what a breakout season for Salvador Perez. Really, the last few seasons were kind of rough for him since signing that big contract, but man, has he been fantastic this year. Has been hitting the ball so well. 100% deserved pick here, and yeah, I think this is a great selection here. Really deserves it, and great season for him here. Next, we have from the Texas Rangers, the hometown team. It is Marcus Semien. Now, this is one of the few picks where I say, what? I don't know why Semien made this. I understand he's on the Rangers. I understand he's a very popular player in there, but man, he has not had a good season. I don't know what stats you can look at and say, oh, Marcus Semien, that deserves to be an All-Star. I mean, just look at his stats. They're really not that good. I don't necessarily understand why Semien was picked an All-Star. It's a very random selection. I don't really think this is deserved whatsoever. He's a very good player, signed that big contract for a reason, but man, this is very random, and I don't think that this is a great pick, and yeah, I don't understand why this happened, so yeah, cool, I guess, but definitely not deserved in my opinion. Sorry to Semien, but man, I don't understand this pick. Next, we have from the Houston Astros, Kyle Tucker. Yeah, 100% deserved. No, nothing else to say here. Kyle Tucker's one of the best players in baseball. He's having another fantastic season, and yeah, definitely deserved. And finally, from the Kansas City Royals, once again, Bobby Witt Jr. Witt is also going to be participating in the Home Run Derby, so that should be very fun. But yeah, a fantastic season for Witt here with the Royals. Has been so good, and I think 100% deserves the selection. He's had an amazing, fantastic season with the Royals. First of many All-Star games for him. I saw someone on ESPN, I forgot who it was, but they said this could be the first 15 All-Star games for Witt, and I 100% agree. This guy's a superstar. He's going to be a big part of the MLB in the future, being a face fit. His dad was a star for the Rangers in his own time, Bobby Witt Sr., so really nice for him to return to his dad's ballpark, and yeah, I think that overall this is a great pick, and he definitely deserves it. Now, going over some snubs here. Again, I talked about Kenley Jansen and Craig Kimbrell before. I also think Andres Munoz has had a really good season and maybe could have been there over Clay Holmes. Brent Rooker, who's had a fantastic season for the A's, maybe could have been in here. Connor Wong, who's had a great season for the Red Sox, I think could have been in here. Also, Ronald Blanco from the Astros had an amazing season as well as a pitcher. I think all four of those guys were really the biggest snubs in my opinion, but again, only really two guys I think are really genuine surprises for me. So overall, a fine list. There were some picks I thought were a little weird, but still a good list. Moving into our second segment now, we'll be talking about the NL All-Star Game Reserves. So yeah, going into that, and we'll see you after the break. So thanks, and bye.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign. A sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign. A sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign. A sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Welcome back here to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Moving into our second segment here, but before we do that, I'd like to ask you again to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read in the air, please use the link gsmcpodcast.net. Really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get back to the show for today. All right, so talking about continuing our first segment, which is the National League All-Star Reserves I forgot to change the text here, so let me do that very quickly. There we go. Talking about the National League All-Star Game Reserves. Yeah, just talked about the AL, so wanted to, do both leagues here. So, yeah, going over the National League All-Star Reserves, and let's get into it. We're starting off with the pitchers. So, first off, we have from the Los Angeles Dodgers, Tyler Glasnow. Yeah, Glasnow's an obvious pick that you had to have in here. Has had an amazing season here in Los Angeles since getting traded to his hometown Dodgers. Has been one of the biggest reasons why this Dodgers rotation has not fallen apart with all the injuries they've had. Has had, again, an amazing season with them. Has been really great and 100% deserves to be in this pick here. Next, we have from the St. Louis Cardinals, Ryan Helsley. I think Helsley's had an amazing season here. Overall, has been one of the biggest reasons why this Cardinals team has been pretty good. Has been a lockdown closer for them, and I think this pick is definitely deserved. He's had a great season, and I'm very glad that he is going to get the credit he deserves for it. So, yeah. Next, we have from the Philadelphia Phillies, another reliever, Jeff Hoffman. Yeah, Hoffman, I think, is definitely deserving of this pick. Really interesting career for him. Started off as a prospect bust for the Rockies, went to the Reds the next year, really did not do great there, and went to the Phillies and has become a fantastic reliever with them. I mean, just sometimes it's a change of organization, and sometimes an organization knows when you have something, and the Phillies done a fantastic job developing him to being a really good relief pitcher, and yeah, I think 100% deserves this pick. Very nice story for him, and yeah, I think this is a very good selection here, and in my opinion, definitely deserved. Next, we have from the Chicago Cubs, Shota Imanaga. Yeah, again, Imanaga, I think a pick you had to have here. Has had a fantastic rookie season with the Cubs. Of course, started off having one of the greatest rookie seasons ever. Has slowed down a little bit, unfortunately, but I think we all knew that was coming. He wasn't going to stay as great as he was the start of the year. I mean, he was doing insane. So, it was never sustainable. Has come back down to earth a little bit, but still is a play you had to have in this game. Has been so good. And, yeah, I think this is a pick you had to have here. Has been so good. And, again, is just an essential pick that was needed to be here. Has, again, had a fantastic season with the Cubs. Yeah, I think this 100% deserved. Next, we have from the Atlanta Braves, Reynaldo Lopez. What a season Reynaldo Lopez has had, man. I mean, like a lot of people, when we saw that the Braves were changing Lopez back to starting pitcher after 6 or 7 years of being a reliever, we were like, okay, that's interesting. Not sure if that's going to work. And man, has it worked out. Has been a lockdown starter for the Braves this year. One of the big reasons why their rotation has stayed afloat, even with the Spencer Strider injury. Him and the next guy on this list, of course. I'm sure you can see who that is. But, yeah, Lopez has had an amazing season with Atlanta here. And, yeah, deserves this pick. What a season for him. Congratulations to him with how good he's been. Yeah, definitely deserved. Next, we have his teammate, of course, also from the Atlanta Braves, Chris Sale. Kind of like Reynaldo Lopez, when he came over in a trade from Boston to Atlanta, I was like, okay, that's interesting. The way you're going to fix your pitching injuries is getting Chris Sale in 2024. But, man, has he worked out. Has been a fantastic pitcher with Atlanta this year. Has been really good, kind of capturing back the old days of Chris Sale back with the first years of Boston, later years of Chicago. So, yeah, I think he's been a fantastic pitcher for Atlanta this year. Is a great pick for this game. And, yeah, I think is 100% deserving of this pick. Really good job to him for revitalizing his career as he has. So, yeah, great job there and definitely deserved. Next, we have from the Miami Marlins, Tanner Scott. Scott has been one of the best relievers all year for Miami. Couldn't think of anyone better to be their representative in this game. Probably won't be a Miami Marlin by this time in August, but we'll have to see. I'm sure he's going to get traded. He's one of the biggest pieces at this trade deadline for any team that needs a reliever. So, I think that overall, this is definitely deserved pick for the Marlins. Scott has been absolutely fantastic, has been one of the best relievers in baseball all year, really since coming over from Baltimore a few years ago, has been a lockdown reliever for this Marlins team. So, yeah, has been really good and definitely deserves to be the pick here for the Marlins. Sorry about that. Did have to cough. Like I said, I am a little bit under the weather, so if you do see me cough or sneeze, I do apologize. But, yeah, going into the next player here, from the Pittsburgh Pirates, Paul Skeens. Who would have thought? Paul Skeens, an All-Star a year after he was drafted first overall. The first player in MLB history to be an All-Star the year after he was drafted. And, man, I mean, what are we going to say about Paul Skeens that hasn't been said? Might be the NL Cy Young favorite right now as a rookie. is having one of the greatest rookie seasons ever already, and he's made like 10 starts. So, yeah, he 100% deserves to be an All-Star. Anyone telling you he doesn't like fun, I mean, he's been so good. I can't say enough nice things about Paul Skeens and how fantastic he's been. Has changed the culture in Pittsburgh already after 10 starts. Is incredible, is an amazing pitcher, and 100% deserves to be on this All-Star team here. Yeah, 100% deserved. Next, we have another Phillies reliever, Matt Strahm. Strahm has been a fantastic pitcher for the Phillies. Great reliever there. Nothing to say about that here. Has been a great pitcher and is definitely deserved. Next, we have his Phillies teammate, a starter this time, Ranger Suarez. Yeah, Suarez has been the NL Cy Young favorite for a majority of the season. Might not be it now with a few rough starts, but still has been absolutely fantastic. Is one of the biggest reasons why the Phillies have been as good as they have been this year, the best record in baseball. So yeah, I think this is 100% deserved. I think that Suarez 100% deserves to be in this game. It was a great pick, and yeah, is a great selection here. Next, we have from the San Francisco Giants, we have Logan Webb. Yeah, great pick again here. Webb has been a great selection. Overall, has been an amazing pitcher. I think that, again, he's consistently been one of the best starting pitchers in all of baseball. He's a master at inducing ground balls. Has been such a good, solid pitcher for San Francisco these past few years. Has really been great. And I think that overall, this is definitely deserved. A really good pick. And yeah, definitely deserved here for San Francisco. A very nice selection. And yeah, I 100% agree with this. I did actually skip over someone, which is strange, but Robert Suarez of the San Diego Padres. Yeah, Suarez also deserves to be here. Has been a lockdown reliever since coming over from Korea 2 years ago with San Diego, and now has been just fantastic. Gave him a big contract to be their closer. He has not underperformed and been exactly what they needed at that pen. Has been a great pitcher for them, and yeah, 100% deserves it here. Finally, again from the Philadelphia Phillies, Zach Wheeler. Yeah, again, it's Wheeler. What else are you going to say, right? One of the best pitchers in all baseball. He's having a great season again. Definitely deserves to be here on this list, and yeah, definitely deserves to be an All-Star. Again, as a Mets fan, happy for him. Good pick here. Next, we have the position players, starting off with C.J. Abrams from the Washington Nationals. Yeah, Abrams had an amazing season with the Nationals here. Has really broken out, has become the player the Nationals were expecting after they got him in the Juan Soto trade. And yeah, has just been an absolutely fantastic player with this Nationals team. I think this is very deserved and is a great selection here. Has had a great season with Washington and really is one of the big pieces of the Nationals' future that represents hope for this franchise. Next, we have one of the more surprising selections of the All-Star game, Pete Alonso from the New York Mets. Now, again, as a Mets fan, I was shocked with this pick, honestly. Alonso's been a good player this year, but I thought there were a lot of other Mets that were really more deserving. I thought Brandon Nimmo was more deserving. I thought Francisco Lindor was more deserving as well. I'll talk about them both later. And I thought Christian Walker was way more deserving as an NL first baseman. I guess they wanted Alonso in because he hasn't had a bad season. I want to make that clear. He hasn't had a bad season. It's just I think there's been players who have had better seasons. And I think they wanted him in because he would do the home run derby, which of course he's amazing at, winning 2 times in a row. But it's just a perplexing pick. I thought there were a lot more players deserving. And yeah, I think that overall is an interesting pick. But it's not horrible. He hasn't had a bad season. Just surprising when you look at his stats this year. They don't exactly stream All-Stars. So I'm not, that was surprising. Luis Arias from the Padres. Arias is a good player. Not sure if he deserves to be an All-Star. Again, he hits great for average, so I think a lot of people think he's amazing when he's in reality he's a very solid player, but he doesn't play great defense. He doesn't do much outside of hits for singles and all that. So I think he's a good, solid player, but just not sure if he deserved to be an All-Star. Not surprising, though. Mookie Betts, of course, MVP candidate before he got hurt. Obviously, he's going to be replaced by someone. I'm sure it's going to be Lindor of the Mets. If it's not, I'd be absolutely shocked. But, yeah. Obviously, he's had a great season, but not going to talk about him too much because he is hurt and is obviously going to be replaced by someone. Ellie De La Cruz of the Reds. Yes, very happy for him that he did end up getting in this game. Has had an amazing season for the Reds. Has quickly become one of the stars of MLB, one of the faces of our league. And yeah, has just been an absolutely fantastic player for this Reds team. Has been really good. And I think 100% deserves to be on this pick here for the Reds. Has been such a good player. And yeah, has become again, quickly one of the faces of our game, and is so marketable, and very happy for him to be here. Freddie Freeman for the Dodgers. Obviously Freeman. I mean, he's been an all-star a million years in a row at this point, it seems like. Nothing to talk about. He's absolutely fantastic. One of the best players in all of baseball. No doubt here. His teammate, Teoscar Hernandez, also made it. Teoscar has been absolutely fantastic with the Dodgers and signing that one-year contract. Has been a huge part of the Dodgers offense. 100% deserves his pick. He's in line for a big contract this offseason from whatever team. And I think this is a great selection here by the Dodgers, by MLB. And great player for the Dodgers. And 100% deserves it. Next, we have from the Colorado Rockies, their only representative. Who else but Ryan McMahon? I've talked with McMahon on the show a bunch of times, but he's been absolutely fantastic this year. Has been a great player for them. He's easily their best player right now and should easily have been their representative, and thankfully he is. Has had such a good season with Colorado. Has been such a great player, and overall I think this is 100% deserved. I think that this is the correct selection, and really nobody on Colorado deserved this other than McMahon. He's had a great season. Props to him. Next, we have another rookie making the All-Star team, Jackson Merrill. Merrill has been absolutely fantastic this year with San Diego. Has made the transition to center field from shortstop perfect, and has been a huge reason of. It has been a huge part of this Padres team. Has been so good this year, and overall has been absolutely fantastic. And I think has been such a huge part of this Padres team, and definitely deserves this pick. And this is a great selection. Really good pick here. Next, we have from the Atlanta Braves, Marcell Ozuna. Ozuna has been absolutely fantastic this year. Sorry about this. Sorry about that. Ozuna has been absolutely fantastic this year. Has been really good. I mean, has just been a huge surprise with this Atlanta team, with how good he's been. Has been one of the reasons why this offense has stayed afloat since the Acuna injury. Definitely deserves to be an all-star. And Heliot Ramos from the Giants is next. Ramos talked about as a guy I could see potentially starting in the all-star game, so I thought he definitely deserved to make it. And 100%. I mean, he's been so good this year, really out of nowhere. Has been a huge reason behind this Giants offense not being absolutely horrible. And definitely deserves this pick. Has been a breakout player this year. Has been absolutely fantastic. And has been a great player for this Giants team. Next, we have from the Pittsburgh Pirates, Brian Reynolds. Reynolds has been so good this year for this Pirates team. I mean, has been absolutely fantastic. I mean, I don't know what else to say about this guy, but Reynolds has been such a great player for this Pirates team for years and years now. Second highest OPS for NL outfielders. Has been so good, and 100% deserves to be the pick here. And last but not least, Will Smith from the Los Angeles Dodgers. One of the best catchers in all baseball. No problems here. Now, going over some snubs, I think definitely could have been here for the All-Star game. First of all, we have Christian Walker. Again, I think he should have been in over Alonso, but I guess they wanted Alonso for the home run derby, so I get it. But still, should definitely try to get him a place in there. Francisco Lindor and Brandon Nimmo, I don't know how they didn't get in there. I mean, I don't know what else they have to do. I assume Lindor will be the fill-in for Mookie, and I think Nimmo will be the fill-in for Tatis. I'm not sure who else would be more deserving than those two, but both had absolutely fantastic seasons. I don't understand why they didn't really make it. Hopefully, again, they'll be the fill-ins, and as a Mets fan, I'll be happy. But again, non-biased, looking at it genuinely, you look at their stats, you look at them compared to the rest of the league, they've had absolutely fantastic seasons, and I definitely think they deserve to be here. Christian Walker as well, over one of the Mets players in Alonso, I think also should have been in. So, that is my second segment here, talking about the NL All-Star Game reserves. Moving into our third segment, we'll be talking about the New York Yankees and the recent struggles, 6-16 in their last handful of games. So, definitely not great. We'll be talking about that, and we'll see you after the break. So, thanks, and bye.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our third segment, which is going to be talking about who else but the New York Yankees and their struggles. So let's get into it. Now, if you pay any remote attention to baseball, you should know that the Yankees have not been great these past few weeks, whether you've seen that on social media, you've heard people talk about it, or you just watch the games and you watch SportsCenter. They have not done great. And as someone who lives in New York and knows a lot of people who are Yankees fans, I definitely know firsthand they have not been great. They are currently 6-16 over the last handful of games, which obviously is not great. It's really, really bad. And a lot of things are becoming much more prevalent for the Yankees. Their issues, what's going wrong for them. And yeah, so just I want to talk about here what is going on with the Yankees. Are there some long-term issues? And let's get into it. So yeah, I think the first question we have to ask with the Yankees is, what's going wrong? And to me, I think there's really one obvious answer that every single person should be able to say: the offense. Now, that's really not what I think most people were expecting because, you have Judge and Soto. How can you be bad? Well, other than Judge and Soto, you don't have much. I mean, you look at this lineup, Austin Wells a catcher. He's fine, but you're still looking for him to develop. He's only a first or second year player. First base, Anthony Rizzo's out, and Ben Rice, while he did have that 3-home run game, he's still a rookie, and he does have some hitting prowess, but just not sure how impactful he's going to be as a full-time rookie this year. Second base, Glaber, he's been horrible this year. Third base, DJ LeMahieu, he's been horrible this year. Shortstop, Anthony Volpe, he's been fine. Trent Grisham, not that great of a hitter. Stanton has been okay, but he's hurt. Alex Verdugo has had a rough stretch fit since starting off really nice with the Yankees. So even though you have Judge and Soto, you don't have much after that. And if you're a pitcher, after you face Soto in the 2 spot, after you face Judge in the 3 spot, you can pretty much coast for the rest of the game. I mean, there's really not much else you have to worry. Glaber's had a horrible season. DJ's had a horrible season. Verdugo's not had the best season after starting off very well. So as much as you have these guys, you look at the names in the lineup, you're like, wow, these guys are great. How could this offense be doing so poorly? It's just when you look at their stats, you look at how they're doing, you look at it more deeply, you realize, oh, these guys really have not been good. And it's a big problem with the Yankees right now because, again, Ben Rice has done well, and I think he'll continue to do well, but it's just not a great sign right now for this Yankees team. I mean, looking at this Yankees schedule, you're also saying they haven't really faced the most, amazing teams. First of all, they played in Boston, lost 2 out of 3. Then played Baltimore at home, they lost 2 out of 3 there. Then played Atlanta at home, lost 2 out of 3. Then played the Mets in Citi Field, got swept in 2 games. Then played the Blue Jays in Toronto, split the series, which again in Toronto, but with the way the Blue Jays have played this year, you really should probably be winning that series. You played in Cincinnati in Yankee Stadium. You got swept there in 3 games, which is rough. You played Boston in Yankee Stadium. You lose 2 out of 3. So, again, what teams are good there? Boston's been solid this year. The Mets have been good. The Braves have been good. Orioles, but you're playing the Reds. You should beat the Red Sox. You should beat the Blue Jays. These are teams you have to beat. You should beat the Reds. You should beat these teams. And even with the Red Sox being solid this year, even with the Orioles being really great, even with the Mets being good, these are teams you have to sweep. I mean, not sweep, I should say. Sorry. These are teams you have to beat. These are teams you have to beat if you're in Yankee Stadium against these teams. Obviously not the Mets, but you're still in New York. It's not exactly like it's a full away disadvantage. These are teams you have to at least be competitive with. I mean, getting swept by the Mets was really awful for them. So I really think that overall there's a lot going on with this Yankees team, and I think one of the big problems is, again, this offensive depth. I think once you get past Juan Soto, once you get past Aaron Judge, there's really not much there. Again, Glaber, DJ LeMahieu, great players in the past, but I don't know. I think Glaber has just been a big disappointment in his contract career, which I'm sure his agent's not thrilled about. DJ has just been really not great since signing that contract, and even off the field as well, he's gotten hurt a lot. So, and when he's on the field, he hasn't been great. So it's not exactly like he's been a difference maker. So, yeah, I think that there's a lot of problems with this Yankees team. And I think the question we have to ask is long-term with the Yankees right now. Will this be a long-term issue? Because they're doing bad in this 22-game stretch, 6-16. But at the same time, is this just something now you have to worry about? That's just going through a cold streak like a lot of teams do. Or is this a long-term issue? Now, if you ask me the question, is this a long-term issue for the Yankees? I would say yes and no. Yes, I think there are some genuine issues with this Yankees team that need to be fixed. But I still think they're a really good team. I don't think they're going to be a 6-16 team for the rest of the year. Obviously, I think anyone can tell you that. I mean, they still have a great team. But at the same time, I think there are genuinely some issues the Yankees have to fix. Again, I think getting an infielder of some sort has to be priority number one. I think getting a third baseman, someone that could help in that position with DJ struggles, maybe a second baseman as well to help out with Glaber. I think that really has to work. I think I think getting a bullpen arm also has to help. Clay Holmes, I talked about him before, but I'll talk about him again. He's definitely struggled after his great start to the year. Still is a very good pitcher, I think, but definitely is struggling, and I think you need to add some reinforcements around him to be able to help. So I think that's another thing. So really, if I'm the Yankees, I'm getting two infielders, getting a second baseman and a third baseman. I'm waiting for Dominguez to come back. I'm waiting for Stanton to come back. And, yeah, really that's what you need if you're a Yankees fan. You need that. You need bullpen help. And as much as I, again, don't think they'll be a bad team for the rest of the year, I still think they're a very good team. I still think they'll be a team in the playoffs and will be a team, not a team to screw around with. I think there are genuinely some fundamental issues about this Yankee team that have to be, worried about. But now looking on the bright side, I mean, again, you look at this pitching staff, it's fantastic. I mean, there are so many good pitchers on this team. Of course, you have Garrett Cole. Of course, you have Nestor Cortez, Marcus Stroman. Luis Gil's been fantastic. There's other guys I'm forgetting as well. Carlos Rodon, who's not been great, but, what are you going to do about him? His contract's so big, you have to keep pitching him. So, overall, there are a lot of issues on this Yankees team that I see long-term, and it's going to be tough for them. I mean, they're in a really tough division. The Orioles, of course, are probably the best team in baseball right now. The Red Sox just beat you 2 out of 3, and they've been really, really good this year. And, by the way, just talking about the Red Sox for a second, man, Rafael Devers, I don't know what goes on with him when he sees the Yankee pinstripes. Man, he's turned into a beast. I know I've seen a lot of funny tweets recently that, compare him and David Ortiz, talking about, Ortiz retired in 2016 and Devers came in 2017. Both, big Dominican players who destroy the Yankees and, DH type players for the Red Sox. And it's just really funny to see the comparisons. But man, I mean, what happens to Devers when he goes to the Bronx? I mean, he just destroys this Yankees team. He had 2 home runs yesterday. His second home run against Michael Tonkin was insane. I don't know how he hit that pitch out. The pitch was like 5 inches off the strike zone, and he swung and he hit it to dead center. So has been amazing against the Yankees, and that's someone the Yankees have to deal with for the rest of his career. But wow, what a guy Devers has been for them. But continuing on with this Yankee struggles now, I think there are a lot of problems with this Yankees team. Again, I think they're going to have to do a lot at the deadline. If I'm the Yankees, here's what I'm doing. I'm acquiring at least 2 relievers at this deadline, which I think needs to happen. I'm also acquiring at least 1 infielder, maybe 2. I think one thing you definitely need is a third baseman. Maybe you believe in Glaber more than DJ to pick it up. But if I'm them, I'm getting some type of infielder that, that's a third baseman. I'm not sure exactly who that could be. I mean, there's obviously a lot of pieces you could end up getting. Jonathan India has been someone that's been connected to the Yankees. I think that makes a lot of sense. Someone who could play both second and third, has some versatility there. And I think that would be a good pick here for this Yankees team. Again, I'll be interested to see what happens with Glaber if they continue starting him, because he only has 1 year left, and he just has not been good this year. So I think that overall would be interesting to see that here. Also, of course, I think Luis Rengifo of the Angels would be a really good pick here to trade for this Yankees team. So those are 2 infielders I think they could end up targeting. For the bullpen, I think that Tanner Scott is a really good selection here that you could end up targeting. Carlos Estevez, also a really good pick. Andrew Nardi of the Marlins, go along with Tanner Scott, I think is also someone that gets underrated. So there are a lot of players I could see you could get for the back end of this bullpen with the Yankees to help out Clay Holmes. But from the Yankees, again, I'm worrying about these issues. I think you need to get at least 2 relievers, 1 infielder at the least, probably 2 if you want to be more competitive. So there are a lot of question marks about this Yankees team going into the future. And as much as I think they are going to be a very good team for the season, there are some question marks about them right now. And it'll be very interesting to see how they do handle it. And I'm very interested to see what does happen with this Yankees team. So, that is our third segment here, talking about the New York Yankees and just going over them and their struggles they've had recently. So, we'll be going into our fourth segment here, which is going to be talking about Yu Darvish being out indefinitely for the San Diego Padres. Going over that, and we'll see you after the break. So thanks, and bye.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fourth segment, which is going to be talking about Yu Darvish and the San Diego Padres and the news that he is going to be out indefinitely. So, let's get into it. So, yesterday it was announced by Padres manager Mike Shildt that Darvish would be out indefinitely and that there was no timetable for his return. He said he's dealing with a family issue that requires his full attention, so he'll be away from the team for a little while. He said physically he is entirely good and there's no problem there. It's just, again, he's dealing with a personal issue, and that overall he would need to step away from the team. Now, first of all, I want to give my condolences to whatever Darvish is going through. Obviously not sure what it is, but going on the restricted list is very serious. I mean, it's a list where you don't get paid, so I'm sure that's obviously a tough decision for someone to step away. So it's obviously very serious, and I want to give my full thoughts to Darvish, and obviously hope he gets better. And obviously baseball isn't the most important thing, and family always is, so thoughts to him. But looking now at the impact it's going to have on the Padres, I do think it is pretty significant. I mean, Darvish has been hurt a good amount of the year for this Padres team. I mean, that's been pretty obvious. And I think there is, a lot of question marks about this Padres team. And I think Darvish going on the injured list now is just going to give a lot more of them. I mean, you're looking at this Padres rotation, it's been very good this year. And I think there are a lot of nice pieces for this team. I mean, you, of course, have some great pitchers here. You have Joe Musgrove, who's been on the injured list really the entire year, but still is a good pitcher, but just not sure what's going to happen with him. You, of course, have Dylan Cease, who's been a fantastic pitcher. You have Matt Waldron, who's been a great knuckleballer. And that's, kind of it for significant arms. You have Darvish again as well, but, that's kind of it. So you also have Michael King, of course, who I forgot about when I mentioned him. But it's going to be interesting now to see who they do fill in with Darvish's spot. I would assume it goes to one of the younger guys like Randy Vasquez, Adam Mazur, will be Johnny Brito as well if they want to make him, more than a bullpen arm for this team. But we'll have to see. So overall, it will be interesting to watch who end up filling this role for the Padres out. And I think in this tough NL West race that they're currently in, I think losing one of your pitchers like this is a tough sign, especially for, again, as long as it might be. Again, they said it's indefinite, so it does not sound great. So, obviously he's going to be a big impact on this Padres team, and overall is going to be something that has to end up. We have to end up watching for the rest of this Padres team. Now, again, I think this Padres team is very solid. I've talked about it before, but I think really the three teams with a leg up upon everyone else in that, mumble-jumbled, NL wildcard race is really the Padres, Mets, and Diamondbacks. I think those three teams are really one up above everyone. Even the Cardinals are above right now. But I still think that overall, the Padres team is very good. I mean, obviously, they had 3 All-Stars for their outfield. Their entire outfield was All-Stars. Dylan Cease had a great season for them. It was surprising that he was not an All-Star. But, again, there's been a lot of great pitchers, so I don't really feel it's not really that crazy. He's had a great season, but it's not like someone was picked over him that really shouldn't have been. He's had a great season, but a lot of people have. So, but overall, again, I think this Padres team is very good, and it's going to be interesting now to see what does happen with Darvish, what does happen with this Padres team in general. And I think right now, if I had them and I want to compete, which obviously they want to, as they traded one of their top prospects in baseball, Drew Thorpe, to the White Sox before the season, forced Cease in a win-now move. I'm acquiring a starting pitcher. And I really do think that is what needs to happen for this Padres team. They've obviously been connected to Garrett Crochet in the past, who I think would be a very good fit for this Padres team. Again, I think when you're acquiring Crochet, you're not just acquiring him for now, you're acquiring him for the future. He's had such an amazing season his first year starting, and he has so many years left on his arm as a starting pitcher, so many years of control left, and you're acquiring him to develop him as well, more as a starting pitcher in the future. So I think getting him would be a great move for this Padres team for not only the now but the future as well. So I think that would be a great move there. I think Crochet's been someone connected to them. I think that would be a very good move. Some other pitchers as well. I think Tyler Anderson, bringing him in as a veteran arm for this team would be nice. I think finally fulfilling the prophecy, getting Max Scherzer a Padre, would be really cool and really funny, honestly, but I also think would be a good fit, getting a veteran starter like him. Obviously was traded to the Padres a few years ago. Ken Rosenthal tweeted it out that the Padres were close to acquiring him, and then the Dodgers saw that and then ramped up their efforts to get him, and then also acquired Trey Turner in that blockbuster trade. So I'm sure AJ Preller has wanted Scherzer for a long time now. It would be funny to see him end up finally getting Scherzer for this team. So I think Scherzer would be a really good fit as well. His teammate Nathan Eovaldi, I think, would be a good fit for this Padres team. To add on Eric Fetty, another White Sox player. So I think there are a lot of players that could end up fitting this Padres team. They have the prospect capital to really acquire anyone that they really want. It's just a matter of who they want to give up. So a lot of players they can end up acquiring, and I think that overall will be very interesting to see what the Padres do at this deadline. They're always one of the most active teams, one of the most interesting teams for a trade deadline. And with this season now where they are, it is going to be, again, interesting what decisions they have to make with Darvish being out now, with Musgrove being out for a long time. Again, I do think they have to acquire a starting pitcher. I mean, you have Dylan Cease, who is an ace-like pitcher. You have Michael King, who's been very good. You have Matt Waldron, who's a very solid number 4, number 5. You have one of the young guys like Adam Mazur, like Randy Vasquez, like Johnny Brito to fill in, but I do think you need another high-level starting pitcher, and I think getting one of those guys could really be a good fit for you. Again, I think Nathan Eovaldi would really be a great fit for the Padres. I'm going to say that again. I think he would be a great fit for a lot of teams, but I think really for the Padres, I just feel like that would be a great fit, getting a controllable starting pitcher for not only this year but for the future as well. He's really, other than Crochet, one of the more high-end starting pitchers on this market, and acquiring him will be a really good fit. So I think that will be a person I would look towards, a Padres fan. But yeah, I think there are a lot of players that the Padres could look to get after. Again, I think they do need a starting pitcher if they are going to compete. And I mean, looking at the NL right now, again, I think they do stand out as one of these teams that I think has a really good fit, because I've talked about before, the NL playoff race is done except for the 2 seeds. I mean, it's early to call it, yes, but I'm sure the 1 seed is going to be the Phillies, 2 seed is going to be the Dodgers, 3 seed is going to be the Brewers, and then 4 seed is going to be the Braves, and then 5 seed is going to be a team of all the teams that are together in the NL wildcard. The Mets, Padres, Diamondbacks, Reds, Giants, who else? I'm forgetting some other teams. Nationals. I'm forgetting some other teams as well, I'm sure. But yeah, just so many teams in this NL wildcard race that are together and fighting for 2 spots, really. And I think that, the Padres do stand out to me as one of those teams that, maybe have an edge because of all the talent they have. And losing Darvish hurts that. It definitely does. But I think when you have the prospect capital the Padres do, they are able to maybe, have a leg up on these other teams. And maybe if you get Darvish back in the race, back in the later part of the season, it will really help. Also, I forgot the Pirates. I forgot the Cubs as well in the wildcard race. So yeah, a ton of teams. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams really fighting for 2 spots. So it's going to be really coming down to the wire right now. I think this Padres team is very good, but to really improve, I think they do need to acquire another starting pitcher. And it'll be interesting to see what they do end up doing at this trade deadline on July 31st. Will they acquire a big name like a Garrett Crochet, or a smaller name like maybe someone like Tyler Anderson, Eric Fetty? But we'll have to see, and it'll be a very, very interesting couple of weeks now for this Padres team following up this Darvish news. So yeah, going into our 5th and final segment here, which is going to be talking about Jazz Chisholm. Some trade rumors are persisting about him, so I did want to just give my take on it and give my thoughts on it. So yeah, we'll be talking about that, and we'll see you after the break. So thanks, and bye. back here for the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fifth and final segment today, which is going to be talking about Jazz Chisholm and some trade rumors involving him and the Miami Marlins. So, let's get into it. Now, it was reported today by one of the best in Marlins reporting, Greg Mish. He is on Twitter and all social media. I assume if you want to know anything about the Marlins, go to him. He really knows. He's really the best insider for Marlins stuff, and he is reporting today in an article that it is getting more likely by the day that Jazz Chisholm is going to be traded from the Miami Marlins. Now, this is surprising and not surprising. I mean, it's not surprising as the Marlins, of course, are tearing it down. I mean, they're fully blowing this team up. Trading Luis Arias in May was an obvious sign that, okay, this is done. This team is getting over. I mean, obviously going to trade a lot of pieces. So, not really surprising that you're trading one of their better players, or it looks like they'll be trading him. But, trading a younger player like Jazz is sort of surprising. Someone who has control like him as well. But, I mean, Luis Arias has 2.5 years of control as well. So, again, wasn't too crazy to hear about it. But wasn't sure that they were going to trade him. And I did want to just talk about Jazz and some trade rumors involving him, and just where some places I think he'd go, and just kind of all that. So yeah. So first question I have to ask myself is, do I think the Marlins should trade Jazz Chisholm? And to be perfectly honest with you, I think the answer is yes. I think Chisholm's value is never going to be higher than right now, and when you're looking at this Marlins team, you're looking at that they're going to blow this team up. It's been very obvious for a little while now that this team is going to be absolutely blown up to smithereens. This core is going to be gone. That's what new GM, President of Baseball Operations, Peter Bendix wants. And yeah, I think that it's very obvious that this is going to end up happening, and the Marlins are going to be a fully blown up team, and this team is going to be absolutely done with. So I think if you're going to do that, you have to go all the way. You can't just trade some players, not trade some other players. No, to me, the worst place you can be is mediocrity. And if the Marlins are going to go all the way in for this rebuild, they should. And trading Jazz is 100% what they should do. He has a lot of value, having 2.5 years of control left, being a really good player. Also a very marketable player who's on the cover of MLB The Show. And as much as players might think he's overrated, I still think he's a very solid player. I don't think he's as good as some people think. But I don't think he's as bad as harder fans think, if you get what I mean. I think casual fans think he's a star, while more hardcore fans who are all, big into advanced statistics. I mean, I am as well, of course, but I think harder fans think he's overrated, while more casual fans think he's, a star. Which I think he's just a good, solid player, and I think that trading him is a good idea for the Marlins. You can get some good prospects back. I think there could be a good package here if you trade Chisholm. 2.5 years left, a very marketable player, very good player, and yeah. So I wanted to give 5 teams I think he fits on well, and just give my thoughts on, why these teams fit well, and maybe what the Marlins could get back. So first off, we have their NL rival, actually, the NL East rival, the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, this has been something that's actually mentioned a little bit, I believe, by Phillies fans and other fans. That makes a lot of sense, and I think it does. I think when you're looking at the Phillies right now, they don't have much real flaws in this team, but if they do have one thing, it's center field. And I think Jazz 100% fixes that. He's not the greatest fielder out there, but at the same time, he has instincts. He's only been playing the position for 1.5 years now, so he's obviously going to get better. He has a lot of speed out there, so it's not like he's just clueless out there. No, there's a lot of talent here with him for center field, so I think that overall he would be a good fit for this Phillies team. Really, the biggest thing they need is a center fielder right now. They bet on Johan Rojas being their starting center fielder for the rest of the year, and he really has not been great. They sent him down to AAA, so I think fixing center field could be a really good thing for this Phillies team, and getting Jazz Chisholm, I think, would be a really, really good add for this team. So I think that would be a good fit here. I think someone you could be looking at to trade is maybe one of their other prospects, not in the top. I don't think Chisholm gets the top 100 prospect. Maybe if the team gets desperate, but maybe a guy. Maybe you look at like Devin Salatavin, who's a younger shortstop, second baseman prospect, who's only 19, will be up later. Try to pronounce that name wrong. Maybe a guy like Brian Rincon, Eduardo Tate. So Griff McGarry as well, someone who's fallen down leaderboards a little bit. So I think you could get a good prospect back for Chisholm. I'm not sure if they would want to trade in the NL East with a direct rival like the Phillies team. They just played in the playoffs last year, so that'll be interesting. But I think Chisholm is a really good fit for this Phillies team and would make a lot of sense here. Also, I have another NL East rival for them, the Atlanta Braves. I think, honestly, I don't see much people talking about this. I think Chisholm is a really, really good fit for this Braves team, and I'll explain why. First of all, they need an outfielder this year. And I think Chisholm moving into that center field spot or an outfield spot would be a really, really good decision here. I think would be a really good fit. Not sure if he would play left or center or right, but if he can play center or right, if he can play center, I'm sure he can play left or right field. Obviously, you probably wouldn't want to move Michael Harris, but I think Chisholm being an outfield bat to add to this Braves lineup would be good. And what we're forgetting as well is that Chisholm also has a lot of versatility. Of course, has been a second baseman and a shortstop in his career, and the Braves don't really have an answer at shortstop for a little while. Orlando Arcia has been really bad, and adding Chisholm here to this Braves team for maybe next year as well, he could play shortstop and be your answer there once Arcia is gone. So I think Chisholm honestly would be a really good fit this year in the outfield, and then you move him to shortstop or second base next year. I think that would be a really good fit for this Braves team, and I think he would be a good, good person to add here. Not exactly sure if, again, the Marlins would move him in division with the Phillies and the Braves, but I think he's a good fit for both teams, so it will be interesting. Next, we have the Pittsburgh Pirates. They've been a team that's 100% been mentioned a lot in Chisholm trade rumors for good reason. Pirates need bats, and getting a young bat like Chisholm would really, really help out a lot. Again, a good player, a good marketable player to add to this Pirates young core, and I think would be a really good fit here. They have the prospect capital to do it, and again, adding in a guy like Chisholm who's a younger bat, which is something the Pirates 100% need, is a very good fit. Would be a really, really fantastic add to this Pirates team. And again, they need young bats. Getting a guy like Chisholm would be a really good fit. And if I'm a Pirates fan, I think this is someone I definitely want my team to target. And yeah, I think overall would be a really, really good fit for this Pirates team, and would be someone that I definitely think should be added here. I think the prospect capital will do it. Adding young backs should be the Pirates' number one priority at this deadline, and getting a guy like Chisholm, who has 2.5 years left to control on his contract, would be an immediate upgrade to really anyone in your lineup other than Brian Reynolds. I think would be a fantastic add, and I think Chisholm would be a great fit here in Pittsburgh. Moving into two AL teams I have. First, the Royals. Royals need a center fielder. Jazz is that. He's young, would add a lot to this Royals young core. So I think Jazz would 100% be a great fit to this Royals team. I think would be really, really good here, and would be a fantastic add to this Royals young team, adding into your young core like Vinny Pasquantino, MJ Melendez, Michael Garcia, Bobby Witt Jr., of course. I think adding Chisholm into that would be great, and I think Chisholm would be a great, great fit for this Pirates team. Royals team. I said the wrong team twice in a row. That's nice. But yeah, I think Chisholm would be a great fit for this Pirates team. Would add into your young hitting core. And again, you need young bats, and I think getting a guy like Chisholm would be a really, really good fit and a really good add to this Pirates team. Last but not least, we have the Seattle Mariners, another team that needs young bats and needs a center fielder. And adding in another young star-like player like Chisholm to this outfield with Julio Rodriguez would be a fantastic fit. Would add into this young MO of this Mariners team that has a lot of swag, has a lot of fun on the field, plays with a lot of joy, and I think adding Chisholm to this Mariners team would be a really good fit, and overall is something that I would like to see. Mariners can have the prospect capital to really trade for anyone, and I think getting Chisholm on this team would be a really good fit. I think they need an outfielder, need another bat, and I think Chisholm would be a really good fit here. They were actually mentioned, I believe, in the article Mish did about Chisholm, so obviously our fit here. So yeah, I think overall Chisholm would be a great fit to these 5 teams. I'm sure a lot of teams would like to have him, but I think these 5 teams to me just stood out the most. Also, again, I think Chisholm is a good, solid player. Again, I don't think he's as good as some people think and not as bad as some people think. So yeah, I think that overall Chisholm is someone that a lot of teams should be looking at the deadline. Maybe isn't as good as some people think again, but is very marketable, is a guy that can bring in a lot of fans, has a ton of fun playing the game, is a great ambassador for baseball, especially being from the Bahamas. Not a lot of baseball players from the Bahamas, of course, so having a star player like that from the Bahamas is really cool and a really great fit for baseball. So yeah, I think adding Chisholm to any team would really help your marketability, your fans, and I think would be a really great fit for any team. So yeah, I think Chisholm is a very underrated target, and with him most likely being traded now with this deadline, I think it really should shake up things, and I'm very interested to see who trades for him, if they do, and what the prospect capital is like, and also what is going to happen with this Miami Marlins trade deadline. So yeah, that is it for our show today, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, hit notification bells. Now that you notify when I upload, when all the other great content creators on this channel do. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. I'm your host, Sam Menzi. It's a beautiful day outside. Enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you at Baseball throws at us tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.